Hello, I am Zahir Alam. Welcome you all on Frankly Speaking. Our today's very special guest is Secretary General of Organization of Islamic Conference, Dr. Ekmeleddin Ihsanoglu, and he joins me to talk about the programs of OIC to forge better understanding in the member countries of Islamic countries across the world. Welcome, Dr. Ekmeleddin Ihsanoglu on Frankly Speaking.
Thank you. Thank you for the kind invitation.
It's our pleasure, sir. So after resumption, you have taken a lot of programs, and we understand that you have a 10-year action plan from the OIC. And what benefits the Islamic countries can reap from this program?
Well, first of all, let me say that really OIC going through a very radical reform in its secretariat, its structure, revision of its objectives and outlook. Now we have in hand a new vision of OIC, and the December 2005 Mecca Extraordinary Summit was a turning point. It was a paradigm shift in history of OIC, where we are now making our motto solidarity in action, not solidarity in political statements, not solidarity in rhetorics, but solidarity in action, means in programs, means in concrete projects, means in things doable and things will bring benefit to the people in the street all over the different corners of the Muslim Ummah. Related to this, we have very ambitious program of poverty alleviation.
Okay.
And there is a fund of $10 billion which has been established in OIC to fight poverty, with programs and projects to be undertaken in countries which in need to that. Out of these $10 billion, there is a $1.5 to $2 billion around that has been already pledged at IDB, which is a specialized organ of OIC. And we think that this program, when it is completed, and we're working now on how the implementation of this program. This is one aspect. Second aspect, in the 10-year plan of action, there is an economic and commercial aspect where we are focusing on increasing trade among member countries. And we have a target of reaching 20% of intertrade between OIC countries from its existing level of around 13%. And we have already devised many ways and means and instruments to do that, to start with the protocols, with agreements for preferential trade, for customs, for tariffs, etc., etc. And this is submitted to the member countries to sign them. Okay. And we found that many countries now signed them.
Is it already ratified or not?
Some of them already ratified, and we are encouraging other countries to ratify them because they need to get in force after ratification.
Are you happy or satisfied with the ratification process of the member countries?
We are okay, but we are urging other countries who did not do that. But this is just one aspect. Then we are devising other programs. Like we have a program on cotton now in Africa, because we have many countries in Africa, like Senegal, Gambia, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Chad, who are producers of good quality cotton, but they cannot market them for obvious reasons. So we are creating now a campaign of manufacturing. We're starting manufacturing cotton there to have value-added element to this cotton, that they sell it and make a contribution to economy. There are many aspects in economic field, in commercial field, encouraging commerce between countries. We are encouraging exhibitions. We are encouraging many different forums for trade between the countries.
Okay.
Exhibitions, we are organizing exhibitions that member countries of OIC can show their products and see the other products in different countries, and they can compete each other and encourage trade among themselves. One of the important aspects in this program, besides poverty alleviation, besides encouraging economic ties and commercial activities, fighting diseases.
Okay.
Fighting diseases is one of the new objectives, because we think that we need international cooperation to deal.
Do you have a special allocation for fighting disease?
Fighting diseases like polio, like malaria, like AIDS, like tuberculosis. And we are cooperating with WHO, with UNICEF, and we are now increasing our cooperation internationally to reach more people in our country. And we have having target to finish with polio in OIC countries. I think we did some success in the last 2.5 years, but we still need to go.
It's a long way.
Yes.
Sir, you're going to hold the next OIC summit in Senegal, I think in March 2008. So what will be the focus of?
Well, the focus of this summit, of course, will be the implementation of this 10-year plan of action, because this is very ambitious plan of action, but it's doable. And we are engaging many OIC institutions like IDB, like many others, in implementation of this 10-year plan of action. And we are encouraging member countries to contribute to this, because they are the beneficiaries of this 10-year plan of action. This is number one. Number two is the charter, the new charter. We're going through the change of charter for the first time. And there has been a decision from the
new
summit.
charter incorporates some new visions, I think.
It can incorporate new vision. It incorporate a new vision for the Muslim Ummah in the 21st century, because the old charter was enacted in 1972. The new charter will bring new possibilities for better cooperation among member countries, and in the same time it will address the new challenges of the Muslim world, like human rights, like women position.
But one thing, Mr. Secretary General, that there are a lot of misgivings against Islam across the world. So how the Organization of Islamic Conference encountered the challenge and to project
thank you for this
Islam?
question. This is an important question, because we are working very extensively on this. And since I came, we have been addressing the cartoon, the Danish cartoon, the Swedish cartoon, the Pope's statement, our prophet and our religion. We've been dealing with this, and I think OIC is progressing well. I must say that for the last 2 weeks I've been here in the United States. I've been in Washington, I've been in New York, I've been meeting many think tanks. I'm meeting the universities, lecturing in universities, having intellectual encounters in these think tanks, many of them.
You met also Bangladeshi chief advisor.
I met many heads of states, heads of governments and ministers, around 40 or more, including, of course, the chief executive, and this was the first time. I already met your foreign minister a few times, but this first time I must say I was impressed by the information he gave me about the transitional government's project vis-a-vis going through finishing this transition,
strengthening democracy and holding free, fair
coming
election.
back to the democracy, having a fair, transparent, and well prepared democratic elections, and we encourage them to do this.
Oh, you did appreciate all the process.
We do appreciate their commitment to democracy and all the procedures they're doing to achieve a good democratic election.
Okay, so what are the things you have discussed with our chief executive, I mean the chief advisor, regarding the OIC? Because Bangladesh is one of the largest Muslim population in the OIC member countries. So how Bangladesh can contribute to forge and...
Well, I think Bangladesh is not only one of the big or the second populous OIC country, it's one of the important countries, because we know that Bangladeshi government, since inception of Bangladesh, and the people of Bangladesh through centuries, they always cherish the relationship to Islam, adhere to Islam. We know how Bengali people are devout Muslims, and we know that they feel that their country is a part of the Muslim Ummah, and we feel that this affiliation to Muslim Ummah is very strong in Bangladesh. This is why my meeting with the chief advisor was very important. He reiterated his government's position vis-a-vis OIC policies, his commitment to the 10-year plan of action, to the revision of the charter, to the next summit. And also I had encouraging remarks from him about the process of returning back to democracy, to multi-party system elections, and free and transparent elections, which we really consider an important issue after the successful transition which happened in Mauritania. We are looking forward to see the same transformation in Bangladesh.
Is he going to attend the next summit, chief advisor? Did he?
We have invited the Senegalese government, and OIC already extended the invitation, and we are looking forward to that.
Mr. Secretary General, you know that across the world there are a lot of hot spots in terms of conflicts, especially in Palestine, in Iraq, and Afghanistan, in Kashmir. So, but we don't see that OIC takes much interest and actively contribute to resolve this crisis, in our view. So, how OIC can play active role in resolving, especially in Iraq? There are a significant amount of American soldiers' presence in Iraqi soil, and there has been
I think the image which transpires from your question is not really the reality, reflection of reality, because we have been involved in these issues very much so. We are active on all levels. If you, all the points you have raised, we are very active, and if you just follow our website, you will see how OIC is engaged in this. Of course, the media would not reflect everything because of differences. I'm not going to discuss this here. Okay. But we have been very much active, and this is so the case in Iraq. If you want my answer on your question in Iraq, I can tell you that we are involved in 3 levels.
Okay.
The first level is the domestic level.
Okay.
Second is neighboring countries, and the third is international. On the domestic level, we are the ones who first managed to bring the leaders, the religious leaders, Sunnis and Shias, yes, together, their top leaders, to a meeting in Ramadan last year, 2006, where they agreed on a document of 10 articles called the Mecca document, where clearly, explicitly, without any hesitation, we laid down the religious essence based on the Holy Quran, on the tradition of the Prophet, on the doctrines of Islam, that this fighting has nothing to do with the religion of Islam or any mazhabs, would it be any school of Sunnis or Shiites. And what is going on is against Islam, man-killing, kidnapping, destroying, yes, and all
total
this,
chaos.
This, all what happened has nothing to do with this, and Islam shuns this, and Islam condemns this, and Islam considers who's doing this, they're out of Islam. So that was a clear message. I think that has its effect. That is on the local level. Secondly, we are engaging with the government from day one, the President, Prime Minister, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and different reasons. I dispatched many missions to Iraq, and we are opening our office there now.
In Iraq, Baghdad?
In Baghdad.
Okay.
We have announced this here in the Nations, and I think everybody has welcomed.
Oh, you have announced this in this session?
Yes, well, in different meetings here.
Who will represent in Baghdad?
There will be a senior diplomat who will be. We are going on. Okay. This process is going on first. This is on domestic level. Now, on OIC level, we are engaged. We have established our contact group, and it has its first meeting here in New York. We are engaged in neighboring countries meetings, and we do important work there. On the third level, which is international level, we are part of the compact, we are part of the extended international group. This is all are just tips of great activities or versatile activities, rich activities doing with Iraq.
Okay. But
so I hope you, next time you ask me, you put your question in a different language.
Okay, but there has been a move from the U.S. Senate that they're trying to separate Iraq into 3 parts, and I don't think that would it be realistic to part in it would have a serious and dire effect on the sovereignty and independence of Iraq. What do you think about that?
Well, I think, as we already announced in our statement a few days back, immediately after this decision was taken in the Senate, that this is wrong, this is a mistake, this is most erroneous decision would be taken on on behalf of any legislative assembly anywhere in the world. I think it totally ignores the realities of Iraq, totally ignores the history of Iraq, it totally ignores the social structure of Iraq, it totally ignores the future of Iraq, it totally ignores the sensitivity of the subject of division, It totally ignores all basic elements on Iraq, and I really don't understand how any parliament on earth can take such a decision. And I think anything to this end, I mean to the division of Iraq, will lead to Balkanization in the Middle East. And we already, since 19th century, suffering of the Balkan division, and we are still in the 21st century suffering from that. And if this starts today in Iraq, God knows where we're going to head with this.
So you totally condemn this effort from the US
We don't
side.
agree, and we think this is wrong.
Okay. Sir, would you please shed some light on the right of Palestinians to exist in an independent?
Of course, Palestinian issue is top on the agenda of OIC, and it is the main reason for the creation of OIC. As those who are in suitable age, they will remember that in 1969, that the arson attack on Al-Aqsa Mosque in Al-Quds al-Sharif has erupted a great reaction in the Muslim world, and the leader of Muslim world get together to deal with this subject.
Okay.
And then this is where and why the OIC started. And since then, OIC is dealing with this issue on the top of its agenda. And since I came to office, we've been dealing with it in a different way. We are more active, we are more proactive in dealing with this, with different levels in Palestine, with the leaders of different factions, with the head of state, head of government, political leaders of Fatah, political leaders of Hamas. I have conducted many trips, and I started a shuttle diplomacy between Ramallah, Gaza, and Damascus, where the leaders are located. We engage with international organizations like UN, like EU, like many others, to contribute to the solution of the problem. And of course, we are very much interested in the humanitarian aspect of solving the problems of the people there. We had certain initiatives which is going on. I think we don't have enough time to deal with that, but OIC is doing a wonderful work there.
Mr. Secretary General, Kashmir has been a very serious contentious issue between India and Pakistan. And there are a lot of controversy, so how OIC can play its role to resolve this issue, and do you consider and put your considerations into this matter?
Well, of course we are aware of this important question, and we are concerned with the fate of Muslims there and their right to the right to solve their problems. We have been encouraged now by, I sent a delegation, I appointed a special envoy. He's been there, and we have submitted many reports to OIC ministerial meetings and summits. And we are now encouraged by the ongoing negotiation and dialogue between Pakistani government and India. We support that very much.
Okay. My very last question says, I want to know, how do you enjoy your service as a Secretary General of OIC?
For me, OIC is a commitment, lifelong commitment. I'm a staunch believer in solidarity among Muslim countries. I have dedicated my life to this, and I'm really happy to see that in this episode of my life that I'm working for this on the highest level. So I'm very pleased. I think this is a benediction from God, this is a reward from God that I'm serving Islam.
What do you say for the audience, Bangladeshi people?
Well, I'm saying to them that I cherish the special relation Bangladesh has with OIC, and I appreciate the cooperation I had since I came to office, elected as the first Secretary General to be elected democratically among three.
And Bangladesh fought for the post.
Well, there were three candidates, one from your country,
Malaysia,
one from Malaysia, and myself. And it was very transparent. It was a ballot, a secret ballot.
Secret ballot.
And for the first round, I almost got around 2/3, and the other two gentlemen had certain votes. And then when they saw this result, they kindly withdrew their nominations, and they kindly gave me the pleasure of having a unanimous election. I do appreciate very much this democratic election, and I think this is set the pattern for the next elections when the turn comes to other secretary generals from the other group. Now we are heading to the African group after Asia finishes its term, and then Africa.
When your term will be over?
Well, it's according to the charter, the secretary general is eligible for 2 terms.
2 terms, okay. So wish you best of luck in
the coming
days.
I thank you.
This is the 3rd time I met you, Mr. Secretary General.
But this is the first opportunity I had to speak widely to the
widely, but
to the public opinion.
I met you in Doha. That was a very small and short interview. So thank you very much. We are deeply honored and privileged, Mr. Secretary General, to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Dear viewers, we thank you indeed and invite you to watch our next episode. Till then, do take care. Bye-bye.